Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you. Today I've got a pretty cool knife to show you, but before I did that I just wanted to kind of show you where we are sitting up in a nice little spot here in the bush. I do have my son Joel out here to help us out a little bit.
Hi.
And Joel's going to do a number of different things for us, but we'll see. You'll see that as we go along. I'll just, hold on, pan the camera down here. Why is this having... There we go. Sorry about that. The tripod went a little bit haywire there, but the knife that I actually have to show you today is this one right here. This is the Lionsteel M4. Of course, it's still in the sheath. I thought I'd give you that look initially and now take it out and let you see the blade. So very, very nice knife. I have to say, guys, it's been a while that I've known about this and wanted to try one out. And I've got the first thing I've really noticed about this is that it's much more versatile than I initially thought. I sort of bought this thinking it'll be an outdoor use knife, camping knife, hiking knife, that kind of thing. But this is a really, really nicely balanced knife. It slices well. It's just, it's great to carry. So I've ended up using this for a lot of different things. I've used it in the kitchen. I've used it as an EDC knife. It's just really, really versatile. And so I've got to say I've been putting this in a lot more use in a lot more situations than I initially thought I would. So let me quickly go through size and weight with you, and then we'll start breaking this thing down bit by bit from blade to handle and everything else the way we normally do. Okay, so the weight, size and weight on this guy, 8 1/8 inches overall. So a pretty nice size, 8 1/8. You know, if you think of, I don't know, pair of two, that's like 8 1/4 inches, so about that size. The blade is going to be 3 5/8 inches, so really, really nicely balanced size there. 4 3/8, I'm sorry, 4 3/8 inches on the handle, so that's from here to here. All right, and the grip area is 3 7/8, so lots and lots of grip area there, even if you have fairly large hands. I wear a large size glove, but if you had even hands much larger than mine, I think you'd be completely fine with this knife. Now, it is a little hefty. This little knife, okay, at 8 inches, weighs in at 6.09 ounces, so basically 6 ounces. The sheath itself is around 2 ounces, so that brings your grand total to 8 ounces that you're actually going to be carrying. All right, I've shared this gripe before, but I really don't know why on websites you'll always see the weight of just the knife listed. I don't know anyone who just carries around a knife without a sheath, so the number that matters is the number with the sheath. So I guess, I don't know, maybe they're thinking there's various sheath options or something. But that said, now we've got size and weight out of the way. Let's go ahead and start working our way through the features on this knife. So beginning with the M390 blade with a satin finish, I have to say, you could actually just take this knife out of the case, put it on a shelf and look at it. It's such a gorgeous knife. Look at that satin finish. Totally, totally fantastic. It'll also cut stuff though, just in case you were wondering if I was going to say you should only look at it. So yeah, let's, so I just found a stick here off the ground near where I'm filming, and I can tell you, you know, the edge there is thin enough that it slices pretty well. I'm not going to set myself up to do a full-on fire stick or anything like that, but you can see this carves pretty nicely, and if I needed to, I could definitely take a little more care and of course put this down on a solid surface at the bottom and do a little more. But I thought I'd just quickly do a little baton for you. So you can see this guy's about 2 inches in diameter. I've got a handy little club here, and you know, for pieces about this size, this is just perfect. Okay, so there you go. Look at that. Like a charm. Let's leave those guys there. But you can see, really nice little tough fixed blade knife, ready for just about anything. And here's what the thing that impresses me about this blade, and actually I'd love to see just this exact blade on a folder. Lionsteel, if you're watching, why don't you do an M4 folder that's same dimensions, same look, same everything. This is such a great knife. Now, the point I was trying to make there is the blade is just so balanced. So I can go from batoning that wood, clean it up first, I suppose, and I could, you know, cut up an apple for my kids or cut up some vegetables to make whatever I plan to be eating at camp that day. Really, really great versatile blade, M390 steel. And I've got to say this about the M390 steel. I've put quite a bit of use on this, and it has held up fantastically well. I've touched it up just a little bit with a strop. I have not had to do a full sharpening on it, and it's been like 2 months of me using this a ton. So, you know, I know there have been some questions. I think the very first time I put a picture of this knife up, that this is what I was carrying, I got some questions about Rockwell hardness. And, you know, obviously I'm not going to send this away for Rockwell testing or anything like that. I'm just going to use it and see how it holds up, and it's held up fantastically well. And by the way, I'm not the only person who's had that experience. If you look around for some reviews, you know, you might find Dutch Bushcraft or Cedric Canada or a few others. Everyone that has tested this has been really, really impressed with the edge holding, and I can add myself to that list. It's just really, really nicely done and really well balanced. So the blade to me is a huge, huge win. Moving on though to something equally as awesome, the handle. Oh yeah, I guess I should point out that crown spine, very, very comfortable. All right, the only challenge would possibly be that if you're trying to throw sparks off of a ferro rod, it may not be ideal for that. All right, I have seen a few guys do it, so it is capable of doing that. I haven't bothered with it myself because I just don't often find myself needing a ferro rod, but there is a crown spine that, you know, isn't as good for that, but it will do it. Moving on, let's take a look at this handle. This is the G10 handle. There are a number of different handles available. So you can get this in micarta, you can get it in cocobolo, I think. You can get it in walnut, which does cost a little bit more, and you can get it in G10. Whatever, you know, whatever flavor is your go-to, I think you'll be happy with it. I love G10, and I wanted to, you know, I like it being a little bit tougher now. I would have been just as happy with the micarta. So G10 or micarta would be my picks. All right, some of you out there may want to go with the walnut, which costs a little bit more, or some of the other wood choices. So I think there's also maybe an olive wood option for handle scales. Now, having gotten all that stuff out of the way, the main point here is just the comfort in hand. So maybe Joel, do you want to grab a hold of this and tell us how you think, what you think about how comfortable it is? So hold it as if you're going to cut something. Try to keep your hand in the frame. What do you think? Feel pretty good or what?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right. Yeah, so ergonomics are fantastic. Nice little palm swell here. Full tang knife. So you've got this little bit of steel sticking out at the back, so you can, you know, use that for an impact tool, or of course, if the need arises, you could also use it as a persuasion device on another individual. Torx screws holding this guy on. All right, and the last thing that I want to talk about is to have you look really closely at the machining there. So see the lines here. In addition to the layers of G10, which look absolutely beautiful, we've also got a really nice pattern, and this pattern is perfect. And what I mean by perfect is it's not so grippy and aggressive that you're feeling like you're ripping your skin off here, but it's also just grippy enough that it inspires a lot of confidence. So again, just another reason that I've been using this knife so much. This, I've got to say, guys, this may, now I've had it only for 2 months, so I really can't, you know, it's maybe too early to say, but this may be my favorite fixed blade that I've ever had. And I've had a lot of nice fixed blades. And it's not that I dislike any of the previously reviewed fixed blades. There's lots of great ones out there, but this just strikes such a great balance in so many areas. The blade, the handle, the size, the weight, the ease of carry, the feel in hand, the look, so many things that I really, really enjoy about this knife. All right, let's move on now finally to one more thing I sort of enjoy before we get to some comparisons, and that is the sheath. So we've got this very nice handmade leather sheath, and I like the sheath a lot. You know, it carries really well, and I have EDC'd this. Now, the only wish that I could have for EDC is that it carried maybe just a little bit higher. But you can see, you know, if you've got your belt through here where my fingers are, most of the knife is going to be hanging down below your belt. That means if you go, let's say, to hop in the car or something like that, it's going to get in the way. However, you'll notice there's a fair bit of space in here. So what my experience was when I had this on a belt, I had it on an 1.5-inch size belt, it would kind of rock back and forth enough that when I got in the car, it would sort of sit this way with the belt kind of running through like this and kind of keep itself out of the way. So it ended up actually working out better than I anticipated. I will say this. All right, because of the size and shape and functionality of this knife, I do think it's really, really well suited to EDC. And because of that, I would like to see a Kydex sheath for this. And no doubt, guys, there are, you know, secondary market Kydex sheaths available. And that may be the way to go if you really wanted this. If you only had one good EDC option, then it's probably worth paying for that. Remember, this is not a cheap knife, okay? So spending the $150 to buy this and then spending another $50 on a Kydex sheath, that to me doesn't seem worth it. So I kind of wish it shipped with a Kydex sheath, although I like the leather and it is really, really well done. And well, I prefer Kydex for EDC. This is definitely doable. Okay, so now that we've gotten all those things out of the way, we've talked about the sheath, we've talked about the blade, we've talked about the handle, we've talked about utility and all that kind of stuff. Let's go ahead and grab some comparisons. So this is where Joel's going to have to help us out a little bit because I only have 2 hands, you may have noticed, and it's going to take 3 or 4 hands to work through comparing this with a number of other knives. So I'll just throw the sheath down here so you can kind of still see it. And let's bring in a few other knives. Joel, do you want to start off with the other Lionsteel, which is this one right here? So I've also got with me the Lionsteel T5. Let me just show you. The one thing I have to say, Lionsteel makes gorgeous knives. You can see I've done a little cutting with this one recently. But the T5 is considerably bigger, okay? Just thought I'd throw, this is not really a comparison, just to say the work that Lionsteel is doing on these fixed blades is truly, truly impressive. So I really need to try out a few more Lionsteel fixed blades. If you have recommendations, put them down in the comments section. Hey, Joel, if you had to pick one of these knives, which one would you pick? The top one is the T5, the bottom one is the M4.
I think I would choose the T5.
Oh boy. I gotta say, I can't really argue with him because the T5 is one of the most beautiful knives I've ever seen. Absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, I'll save all of my ranting and raving about this for the full review. Needless to say, I like this one quite a bit. Let's keep going with the comparisons. Yeah, so next, Joel's just handing me knives here. So the next one he's handing me is the Jesse Jaros Globetrotter. So this is a mid-tech knife. It does have a Kydex sheath, similar in size. You can sort of see that. The Jaros is a little bit smaller, okay, but not all that much. And it does, you know, if you were going to make if you're going to look for a primary EDC knife, the Jaros would be a really good contender. It is a little smaller, a little lighter, and with the Kydex, it carries a little more comfortably, all right? However, it does have a smaller handle, and, you know, for prolonged work, you may find the Lionsteel just a little more comfortable. The Jaros is also a great deal. If you follow Jesse on Instagram, you'll find these come up at a pretty good price every so often. What else have we got here? Let's do... Can you grab the sheath, Joel? Thanks. Okay, let's do the Mora Companion next. Everyone's familiar with the Mora Companion. I haven't done a review or anything on this knife. I haven't even got a lot of use on it yet, but because I know everyone's familiar with it, I thought I'd bring this one out here just to kind of give you a size and weight comparison. Of course, these are not even in the same realm. Now, the next knife, I have to say, is pretty near and dear to my heart, and so I may actually do a full comparison video between these two. So this, what we've got next, is the Cold Steel Master Hunter, and it is fantastic. I really, the 3V steel here is so good, just tough and comfortable, and as a knife to carry in the bush, as a hunting knife, this is nearly perfect. The only thing I wish is that it was full tang. I wish Cold Steel would do like an updated version of this, just with the same construction as this guy. Again, though, a very popular, very well-loved knife, so I thought I'd just show them to you side by side. Obviously, this is a little bigger, so probably not as suited for EDC stuff. Now, I do have a knife that is well suited to EDC. I've got the QSP Worker or Working Man. I can't remember the name now, but you can fill it in the comments or check later when I have a chance, and I'll update this with a name. This is a really, really great knife. Equally comfortable, a little less blade length, but not a whole lot less. What is the steel on this guy? N690, I believe. Yeah, it is N690. Micarta handle. Again, very nice knife. Now, this grip is a little more hand specific. This is a little more forgiving. Doesn't really matter where your hands are. It feels really good. This one kind of forces you into particular situation, particular position. I've got one more knife to show you, and this may be, in my heart and mind, the closest. Now, it's a little bigger, but what we have here is the Chris Reeve Nyala in Nkosi blade shape, natural micarta. Beautiful, beautiful knife. Let me hold these two up side by side. You can see the Nyala is a little thicker in the blade stock. All right, but fairly similar in size. All right, hollow grind here. I would say both of these achieve a similar goal, and that is to be beautiful, amazing cutting tools that are highly functional but yet highly tough. And yeah, these two knives, I think I'm actually going to do a full comparison video, because to me these two knives are doing some very similar things. They're versatile, they're tough, they're good for EDC, they're good in the forest, they look amazing. Both of these are, you know, heirloom quality pieces. Of course, there's a bit of a cost difference. This one's going to be about $100 more. All right. Last but not least, Joel's going to put all the sheaths in the picture here too. So thanks for bearing with me through all those comparisons. It's okay, Joel, just make a pile. Doesn't matter. So thanks for bearing with me through all those comparisons. I really just wanted to kind of show you where this lands and sort of how it stacks up to some of the other available options. I know there are dozens and dozens of fixed blades out there, thousands and thousands, in fact. But these are some on my list that I thought, yeah, someone who's into this may also be interested in some of these. Now, the cost on this, last I checked on Blade HQ, $155 for this guy. That compares, you know, the Jaros is like $100. The Master Hunter, I think, is around $120. Obviously, the Companion is like $19. The Nyala is $250. The T5 is a little more. Maybe it's $160 or something like that. And the QSP over here, I think these go for around $120 as well. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a comparison in terms of value. And that's the last thing that I want to talk about. So at $155 for this knife with the sheath that it comes with, I'm pretty happy with that. In fact, I'm more than happy with that. I'm really kind of blown away by it, considering how much I have paid for knives. You know, I've had a few knives that were not in the same category, not quite as nice as this, that I didn't enjoy as much as this, that I paid close to $200 for. So I think at $155, this is amazing. And I think the versatility of it is where that value really shines, because now you can spend that $150 and you've got a knife that you can take hunting, you can take in the bush, you can take, you know, hiking, you can EDC it. It'll just be that one tool option outside of course, heavy chopping or functioning as a machete, which it's just not going to do. This is really, really good. And I think I've had this conversation with you before. My chosen or preferred way to carry a knife in the woods is to pair it with a saw or a hatchet, or probably both of those things. So I don't really, when I look for an outdoor use knife, look for something that can do a lot of chopping. Sorry, the focus is going all wonky there, guys. All right, so yeah, do I like this knife? I actually love this knife. I could not possibly recommend this thing higher. It is honestly one of my very favorite fixed blades that I have ever had. And yeah, this is, every time I pick it up and use it and carry it, I just have a smile on my face. So there you go, guys. That's my take on the Lionsteel M4, one of my very favorite fixed blades, if not my favorite fixed blade. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon. By the way, don't forget to check out the links to White Mountain Knives, as well as I'll throw a link to my Amazon store and to Southern Edge Knife Works down there. But White Mountain Knives is where I got this, and where I recommend you go to check one out as well. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you soon.
subscribe.
There you go. Joel wants to say goodbye too. Here you go.
Make sure to like and subscribe.
There you go. Thanks, guys. We'll talk later.